God, welcome into the channel. My name is Raul. This is Lifted Noise. So today I'm looking at something, believe it or not, that I've never really looked into as far as the MPC goes. I haven't been using it to its full potential. It is a sampler, and I'm getting back into some like building up my sampling techniques. So what I want to look at is like a very simple way to match tempos, match the BPM of one loop versus another loop. So I got samples and I got a break. So I got something I want to chop up, and then I got a drum break. So how do I do that in the MPC standalone? Let's take a look. Okay, so here are the two samples that I'm working with. They're both loops. I got a drum break, and I got this sample here. So now if I strike them both together, we'll see that they're not playing in sync. They're not the same tempo. All right, so what I want to do first is focus on my sample, you know, where the majority of my music is, melody, you know, harmony, all that, because I'm going to pitch the drum break so that it fits with the sample. And I don't want to do it the other way around, because if I do that, then I'm going to be taking the sample out of key, which doesn't make as much sense when it comes to something that's rhythmic like these drums. If I pitch it, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to clash with the sample, and I'm not going to run into any issues when I'm, say, maybe playing some other instrumentation over top, because I want to keep this in key. So let's take a look at the tempo. Let's find the BPM of this sample here. So menu, sample, edit. So in here, we'll see towards the bottom, there's a BPM readout. Now, sometimes it gives you funny looking numbers. Currently it says 45.56. So if I click on this, we also have, what we see is a 1/2, which would be like a division, and then a multiply by 2. So this might make more sense. If you hit multiply by 2, you see a tempo that makes more sense, right? Probably. For me, it does anyway. So this would be accurate, and this is what I could go out here and put on my sequence. But there's actually a quicker way of doing this. But if I go back into sample edit, I do have more as far as BPM and BPM detect that I can find if I click on this little arrow here and this pops open. I would probably, it's kind of strange. It's not always accurate. So if we click on detect BPM, the results for me a lot of times can be off. So I would kind of trust what it says immediately, because what it detects naturally, that other number may be more accurate than what it gives you if you press this. So if I hit detect here, it's going to give me this 156. So if I click on that and have that, it says 78, which isn't equal to the initial BPM that was read out with the sample. So I'm going to undo this and just go back out, and I'm going to show you what I think is the most accurate way of finding your tempo. So if you press from BPM, and what you see here is a number readout for beats. Now a beat is just 1, right? So if you're 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 4 beats. So I'm going to trigger my pad here and count the beats, and then set that here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So it's 16 beats. I'm going to set that here. And as you see, as I'm changing it, the BPM also changes. So 16 beats, the readout of my BPM is 89.11. So that sounds accurate to the initial count. So now what I want to do to actually not have to go over here and adjust the BPM manually, if I am inside where I was just at from BPM, and I press this little 2 sequence button, what it'll do is it'll set my BPM in my sequence to be exactly what my sample tempo is, what my sample BPM is. So now I can just sequence this in. And I pretty much got a perfect loop. Okay, so from here, what I want to do is look at my drum break BPM. So if I go sample edit and move this over to my drum break, I can see that it's at 94.56. So there's a difference of about 6 beats per minute. So there is a very quick and easy way of matching to my other sample. But what it's actually doing is, if you go to from BPM again, and you look at the bottom, we also have a match button next to the to sequence. But first of all, we want to do the same thing we did with the other sample and count our beats. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that it reads out an accurate BPM. So if I go down to 8 beats, we're going to see that reflected here, 94.56 that we saw outside of the screen. So now if I hit match, what it's going to do is it's going to tune my sample so that it fits. So see, you have a tune option to do this here, but you hit match, it's going to tune it so it fits exactly with the sequence tempo and then my other sample by default. So match. Now we look right here and the tune is changed to -103. So now it should fit. So if I go over here, put on my second track, I got my break, I'm going to sequence it in. It should be in sync. So there it is, just like that. We got 2 samples with the BPM matching. And like I said, it's best to start with the sample that's going to have the melody information, the harmony information, the main idea of the song, because we don't want to take that out of the scale, out of the key that it's in, you know, too far and then be confused when we go into like add some other stuff. Pretty much said, if you want to actually chop your sample up, you're going to be good to go as far as tempo is. So I go trim up, you know, let's say regions and do 16 pieces. Shift, convert this, create myself a new drum program using slices. Go out. So I'm gonna go back over to the first track. I'm gonna erase what I sequenced, change my program to now my chops. All right, there you go. That's a quick, very simple way, pretty straightforward, easy way to get your loops, the BPMs matched up together. Probably late to the game, something I haven't explored. Probably mainly because I've been more into composition lately, making my own original stuff. But I really want to get back into sampling. You know, it's a part of this hip hop thing. And I just don't want to fear it anymore. I don't want to fear the sample police or the clearance people. So yeah, just trying to level up on this. If you found some value in this video, please do give it a thumbs up. That's the best way you can support the channel. Any other monetary ways, links in the description. Yeah, so until next time, God bless. Run with your dreams, because success is not a destination, it's a movement. So keep moving. Peace.